Books presents an unabridged recording of The Endless Steppe by Esther Hautzig, narrated by Alisa Bresnahan.
Chapter 1. The morning it happened, the end of my lovely world, I didn't water the lilac bush outside my father's study. The time was June, 1941, and the place was Vilna, a city in the northeastern corner of Poland, and I was 10 years old, and took it quite for granted that all over the globe people tended their gardens on such a morning as this. Wars and bombs stopped at the garden gates, happened on the far side of garden walls. Our garden was the center of my world, the place above all others where I wished to remain forever. The house we lived in was built around this garden, its red tiled roof slanting toward it. It was a very large and dignified house, with a white plaster facade. The people who lived in it were my people, my parents, my paternal grandparents, my aunts and my uncles and my cousins. My grandfather owned the house. My grandmother ruled the house. They lived rather majestically in their own apartment, and the rest of us lived in 6 separate apartments. Separate, but not exactly private. There were no locked doors. People were always rushing in and out of each other's apartments to borrow things, to gossip, to boast a bit or complain a bit, or to tell the latest family joke. It was a great, exuberant, busy, loving family, and heaven for an only child. Behind the windows looking out on our garden, there were no strangers, no enemies, no hidden danger. Beyond the garden, beginning with the tree-lined avenue we lived on, was Vilna, my city. For the best view of Vilna, one went to the top of Castle Hill, and I was always asking Miss Rachel, my governess, to take me there. Built along the banks of the river Vilia, in a basin of green hills, Vilna has been called a woodland capital. It was a university town, a city of parks and white churches with gold and red towers built by Italian architects in an opulent Baroque style, a city of lovely old houses hugging the hills and each other. It was a spirited and a gay city for a child to grow up in. From this hilltop I could make out the place where my family's business took up half a block, the synagogue we attended, the road that led to the idyllic lake country where we had our summer house. When I stood on this hilltop, everything was just as it should be in this best of all possible worlds, my world. And, down to the smallest detail, I wouldn't have had any of it changed. What I ate for breakfast on school mornings was 1 buttered roll, a soft roll, not a hard roll, and 1 cup of cocoa. Any attempt to alter this menu I regarded as a plot to poison me. I would sit down to this breakfast at a round table in the dining room with my young parents or my beloved Miss Rachel. My father, called Tata, the Polish for Papa, was my most favorite person in the world, a secret I thought I ought to keep from Mama. Tata was gay and fun-loving, and not only made jokes himself, but laughed at mine, whether mine were funny or not. Mama was gay, too, with an engaging talent for laughing over spilt milk, but at an early age I found out that she was a strong-minded lady who thought that 1 indulgent parent was quite enough for an only child. When I was 4 years old, she and I first locked horns. I had just begun to attend a progressive nursery school, and one morning, when I and a dozen or so other little girls were doing calisthenics on the floor, I made a shattering discovery. All legs had been swung back over heads, all toes were touching the floor, when, rolling my eyes from side to side, I saw that all the panties thus displayed were silk, white, pink, blue, yellow silk, a gorgeous rainbow.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.